Hello, welcome. My name is Veldboom, and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to showcase our digital journey, not only to design this car, but also with the digital twinning aspect and everything that we kind of do as a company as well, and what we're planning on in the future. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Back in the office, hope everybody had a great holiday. I spent some time in Belgium, didn't do too much, just lazy, chilling, recovering from all of the hard work we did this year. But in this video, I actually want to showcase like the digital journey it took for me to create the car that I also showed in the last episode that I recorded. So let's get right into it. So basically what you can see here, this is SolidWorks, and this is also like the program that I've been working with when it comes to designing these kind of mechanical components. I'll show a couple of different things in the future. But basically, this is like the steps that I'm taking to get through here, So when it comes to this car specifically, I initially started with just the frame. So I can already like show a little bit of that if you also like highlight individual components. And here it is a little bit chopped up and everything because I was also 3D printing the inserts to kind of put them in the correct positions and everything. But this is kind of like the initial frame design that I made for it. Also with my dad, he's also like mechanically inclined, I would say. So we worked together on a little bit to form it that way. Also here, these were then the suspension components that then came next, and the interior and everything. But I think with this car, actually, everything started with the seat because I wanted to have something that was just really like designed around the person and the driver. Also because when I did go to school, I didn't finish college or anything. But when I did go to like product design, that I was studying product design for like a semester, there were a couple of books about ergonomics and things in there, and there was like really the study of how you design things around human shapes and the human body, So, and I was pretty intrigued with that and that whole process that kind of came with it. So that is kind of how this whole project also started, with me designing cars around the seat instead of making the body first and everything else that came to follow. That's also why this shape is kind of like damn near a station wagon a little bit, because with just the seat in this position and the wheels and everything around it, it was just like the most aero like efficient and space efficient way to kind of design it. Because I also couldn't have like a slope angle of the roof that would go beyond 12 degrees. All that type of stuff, And during the process also of building this car, I also had the opportunity last year in the summer on June 21st to present it on the 750-year celebration of the Amsterdam City Festival and everything. So that is kind of what also kind of led to me doing this whole process with the sponsors and everything on there. But it was pretty interesting because during the festival there was another a college also next to us, our local like host, the College of Amsterdam, and there so next to us, right next to us at the 750-year celebration, was a stand as well from mobility studies and stuff that they were doing on that college. And one of the professors, I guess, came up to me and was talking about like the design of the car, that he was, not only like aesthetically that he thought it was a cool design, but he was mentioning, or he actually saw like the design consideration that I took to make sure that all of the windows were straight as possible, no weird curvatures or multiple compound curves or anything. The body panels themselves were 3D printed, but at the same time, it's also like very moldable. Like all of the body panels don't have any like concaving shapes or anything that you can't put like a mold out of it. So those were a bunch of the design processes that kind of came together to make this form the way that it is right now. But that is also what I wanted to highlight and showcase, because I also have this program open, and this is Unreal Engine, and that is kind of like the combination of things that we're also doing here, not only with Veldboom Studios, but also with our other company, Saya Buffet, is that we create these type of digital twins. And this is also exactly like a good highlight of what a digital twin is. This is now an entire island that I'm working on, but on this island, there's basically like a couple of houses that I designed. This is like a collection of everything just in one place, So I kind of keep this world the way it is. But I also have like a couple of my former designs and things in there. This was the previous car, the way that I kind of thought it would end up being, the one that I'm actually building right now. And I guess what you can see here already is that it's very similar in its kind of like proportions. The new one is a little bit wider, not too much though, but there was like a bunch of things that I didn't take into consideration when it came to these body panels and stuff. You know, here, if you now look into the body panels, there aren't really like a lot of ways of properly like attaching one to the other, to keep also like the, the spacing and everything. So that was a very large learning curve to kind of deal with, when it comes to like not only designing the car but actually making it producible in a way. So that is kind of what the next step was when this design came around, and I made a bunch of different decisions to go from like the headlights that are kind of like more in the front of the front bumper to now being having headlights that are kind of more placed on like the top of the hood instead. And also now having like these smaller inlets for like braking, cooling, and instead of having like these kind of shapes that were intended for that purpose, because that would also lead to like having sharper angles that might make it harder to pass like road legality things and stuff, you know. So with this kind of like shape, there isn't like a lot of like pedestrian impact, like the hazard areas or something. You never want to hit a pedestrian, obviously, but there's actual rules and regulations in place that these type of shapes will have like a lot of like regulations to them when it comes to like the curve radiuses and how sharp it can be, all that type of stuff, you know. So that is kind of why a bunch of those design changes kind of came along. And also one of the things, like this is the rest of the house and everything, and I can showcase this also some other time, when I do like maybe like an architectural video. But this is kind of like the whole showcase of what my dreams are when it comes to Veldboom Studios and also our automotive branch. Because actually, like I'm a huge car nerd, and I would love to like collect a bunch of cars. And financially, I'm just not as fortunate right now, but I feel like, with some time and dedication, this could come to fruition. And then I would have like a aftermarket branch where I could take these cars, scan them, produce like new components for them. And that would kind of be like this wing of the building. And then right here, we actually start to have like our own design. So also all of the people that are in the building would kind of represent like all of the staff that we would need. So this would be like maybe like marketing and HR and sales and all that type of stuff. And then this would probably be like engineering and like logistics, stuff like that. Just placing like all of these people in there as kind of like the vision is, and also to kind of showcase not to myself, but also like to myself, but to kind of calculate like the costs involved. Like if everybody that is in here would be like on an average of like I don't know, 6K, 7K salary or something monthly, then there's then that kind of would add up. But it also showcases, like, to me, like what the investment would be, what the actual outcome would be as well when everything kind of comes to fruition that way. So this is where everything will kind of get designed, sorted, like the whole company and everything will kind of just be in here. And then in here we will have like a station where people could spec their car. So here you can now see them with like all the body panels on there, the mirrors. It's not like the full interior yet because it still needs to work on that. But also with the aero kit and everything. So here you can also then spec out the seats you would like, the sizing of the seats, the colors and materials. We have some scale models that we can show the same thing, the steering wheels. These are also art pieces from a local artist, Virgil Sana, that we kind of use to also decorate the entire space. And then here we have like our couch with the big screen, because this is where you would have like a configurator and you could see like the car digitally and all that in there. And then here we have the production line. But before I get to the production line, I also want to showcase the storage facility, because here we would store like all of the parts that we would need, and also like to see what kind of stock we would need to keep if we want to continue building cars for like maybe say like 2 or 3 months. If our suppliers aren't like delivering components anymore, we should have like a couple of pieces in backlog. And then here would also be like a production facility. There's still like a collision there, so I can't go in there. but these are supposed to be like autoclaves if you want to do like carbon production, and these are also like the stations for people to kind of place like carbon in molds. And then behind this door you would have like CNC machines and stuff. I could show it in a second if I'm kind of like out of the game field. But then from where the parts get produced, there's like a direct line to put them in the storage facility, and then from the storage facility they would go directly to the production line. So I'm also thinking about making like more of a video game experience where you could actually like place them, like assemble the cars, maybe also do it in like VR and stuff like that. But I feel like I'll work on something where I can maybe find somebody on Fiverr or something that could take this and, you know, transform it into like an interactive gaming experience with all of the assets that I have in there. We also have 2 full-time employees for game development, but they're now working on like customer projects and stuff. So I think it might be better to just kind of let them do that. But yeah, so here also what you can see, these are all the employees that we would need also to like make sure that all of the cars get built. And instead of having like 1 person per station, I kind of want to have it 1 person per car, and that you kind of travel with your car that you're building. The car itself is made to be put together very simply. So here on station 1, you can see like you have the batteries, you have the powertrain, the electrical motors and stuff, and those would then go into the frame, you know. So here at station 2, and also ignore the glass please, because you know I can find a way to kind of remove it, but I still will do that. But here you can kind of see the batteries and the motor in place. And then on the workstation, the suspension mounts to the frame are kind of waiting for you, you know. So then on the next station, you can see the suspension mounts being rigged to the car, and then the suspension arms are actually now waiting for you. So and then here you can see the suspension arms being attached, and that is kind of like the whole process and how we kind of continue on from having like no parts to it to kind of seeing more and more of a complete car in there as well. And then here we start with the body panels, but then before the body panels kind of get to the car, you also have like a spray boot section where you could, you know, like have the car go in and then come out this way where I'm walking right now. But that is kind of like how we want to have that, you know, being done. And then we also have like a couple of people working the spray boots and everything. And then here you can see like all of those body panels coming to the car, and then the wheels are being attached, and then it rolls itself into the quality control room. And if everything is down to the way we kind of feel like it's supposed to be, then it's granted to kind of leave the premises, I guess. Now there's the collision layer again here. There we go. But then here again, you can kind of see like the spray frame booth. But let's kind of do like a tally of the people involved in the process, I guess. So this is the quality control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just say like it's probably up to like 40 people, because we still also have upstairs. And this is like where the whole office will be. When it comes to like also event planning and HR and stuff like that. And this is also the upholstery room. So if you want to make like custom pieces and stuff, so you know, like interior like stitches and all that type of stuff. So you know, that is kind of like the whole plan when it comes to setting up the entire shop and everything. So I'm actually going to work towards also attaching like euros and dollar signs to everything, like all of the equipment needed and everything, that we can make like a spreadsheet within this whole thing and kind of see like the total cost, the amount of parts that we'd be able to produce every day, and then also what we would be able to sell them for based on those costs involved, and then also what the profits would be, and you know, like all that whole sum is just what I'm figuring out now, and I already kind of have it on paper, but to have it like within this world and to make it visual, I think it's also very powerful for the investors that we want to attract, and to also showcase like the feasibility of everything, that but also like the possibility of success and everything, you know, that it's not just like a pipe dream for me, but actually that also like the market showcases that, you know, the level of interest is there for us to do something like that. But that is kind of like in general what I wanted to showcase within this video is like, besides us 3D printing the physical and building everything, this is like the whole digital realm of things that kind of comes into play when with the way that we do production. And also in the future, if you would want to automate a bunch of these processes, then also robotics and things can be trained from an environment like this, you know. So if you have some interest in this type of level of digital twinning and game development and production and everything, also hit us up, because we can this is what we do actually, you know. This is what pays our bills, and how we can kind of build the car even and everything, you know. So I hope that was a little bit informative on how we kind of take our digital approach, how we design things, how we kind of also promote and highlight, market, and sell things. Also, what we do as a digital twinning company with Saya Buffet. So please get in touch with us if you also have some interest in highlighting your own product in this manner. And make sure to subscribe and follow us for the next videos to come. This is a long journey in the making, but we're actually gonna achieve quite a lot of it, you know. So make sure to follow us. Thank you. My name is Shaquille Veldboom. Hope to see you in the next one. I'm out.